Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the fastest Terran out there. In the red, it's Team Liquid's Clem. But he's up against the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark. The final boss, it's Dark. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg Grand Finals. Now I think the last opportunity to see these two face off before they head to the Esports World Cup and compete for the greatest share of $1 million. So whether you want to see Clem rise up and represent the younger generation, or you more empathize with Dark telling him to get off my lawn. Either way, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button. And maybe even subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we... No, I know it's shameless. What? 1,388 likes on this video, on this cast. I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways while these two are still playing. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better than these Zerglings. Beset upon by Clem's Reaper. Of course he's going for 2 Rags Reaper. He's on the right side of the map, which is not coincidentally the right side of the map for keeping your add-on safe. Though I don't know if that would have made the difference for Clem overall. And the third base is on the way. Clem setting the Reapers on it. Immediately, Dark hit a drone, but Clem didn't spot it in time. Throws out the grenades, which used to do twice as much damage on half the cooldown before Clem's metaphorical father Beyond got them nerfed after beating... Let me check my notes. Dark in the World Finals quite a while ago. So, well, the Reapers... Nope! Get off my... We're close to the creek. Lawn. Whatever. Okay, Brenda. I don't... Oh, Dark. Well, the Baneling Nest is on the way, and Kool-Aid Man Dark is looking to break through the Zerglings. He committed to a whole bunch of them, which either he kills the Reapers, which is a win, or he has a bunch of Zerglings for the Bane bust. This is the most Dark thing. He just kills the Reapers, and Clem is going Stim Marines behind. The Overlord spots all of this. The Reapers are dead, which means there's no scout. You are not prepared. Well, and the setup here that Clem has 2 vulnerable points with those depots. Dark is just gonna come busting in. It's just a bunch of... Oh, he sees it now. The alarm bells are ringing, but the Banelings are already at the gates. There's no wall. Great target fire by Clem, of course. It sounds redundant. 1 more Baneling. Take it out by the Marine. Oh my god. He's holding. Well, that was about the best case scenario for Clem. A near perfect defense. But the Zerglings and Banelings aren't sending their best, and they're inside the mineral line, ripping apart the SCVs. And it looks like almost before we finish the introductions, game 1, we'll be going to the dark side of things. He's dropping mules. I mean, actually, Clem still has 20 SCVs. When you do a Baneling bust, and this is the reason Baneling busts aren't particularly common, is it costs you a lot of potential economy, but Dark won't stop coming. More Banelings coming in. The SCVs cornered inside their own main base. And how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, young man? 3 CC blindly with only 3 Reapers to defend. Your greed will be the death of you. Oh my god, Clem. So if you haven't been following, Clem has been in Korea. He had the 430 MS clan. He switched his clan tag to 0 MS while he's in Korea. I appreciate that. But I appreciate Dark's hubris more, as he just comes busting down the door, and game 1 starts things off. Well, every moment you think you know what Dark's going to do, that's the moment. As soon as those Reapers pulled away, as soon as it was clear they wouldn't be able to scout the back of the base, he slaps down the Baneling Nest, and he comes busting through. Dark off to a 1-game lead, just like that. Game 2, Oceanborn. Oh, Clem. Not even a bunker. The greed there. After going 3 CC. Hoping he can get away with the stim. And if Dark waits more than about 20 more seconds and Clem has stim done or any Hellions, Clem halts. But Dark sent it all the way. I think if that just outright fails, that's a GG and move on. But of course it didn't. Now, what I love about that, and really a testament, Dark has played probably in more finals of weekly and major tournaments than most players, even pros necessarily. Okay, maybe not pros, but most of the people watching this have played ladder games. So he played something like 3,000 professional games last year, though Clem is approaching that number. Clem is probably second only to Dark in terms of professional games played this year. But that instinct to just go for it. And I was talking about the more meta mind game of it. You mainling busted in game 1. Now you've put that on the table. You've put your big banelings out in front and said, what are you going to do about it? And it makes a lot of people uncomfortable and is widely considered a dick move in many cultures. But it's there now, and Clem scouting with the SCV and will block potentially the third. He has to respect it. Just doing that build at all has now limited Clem's options pretty significantly, as he has to keep in mind the Baneling bust is possible and deadly. I feel a lot of the meta is kind of, it's not entirely, but somewhat based on a gentleman's agreement of this is the opener and we won't deviate too far from it because we've kind of agreed in some fashion that this is how you're supposed to play the matchup. And then Dark comes in. I think Gumiho is one of the players who also breaks out of that mold when it comes to the Terrans. And then Nightmare is recently the player for Protoss who has that sort of originality, though maybe not quite to the same extent. But in my opinion, the most entertaining to watch. The Queens. Dancing around. SCV finally comes back. Dark didn't even bother trying to take that base. He just took the northern one. Which the reason you usually don't take the outer bases is that is more towards your opponent. And also, possibly more vulnerable to tank pushes. Just in general, if you can expand to the triangle base, you can potentially defend your main via your fourth as well. It makes drops a little bit less annoying to deal with. And, of course, Clem, possibly the most annoying possible player when it comes to drops. Liberator's on the way. Zerglings will be hunted down and roasted. And the Hellions are on their way out. Also, the creep spread takes quite a while to get to that third base. The sheer distance between it. Yeah, Clem scouted, of course. I bet he's thinking about running by, even though he knows there's Zergling speed. But unfortunately for him, Dark has got the wraparound and he kills a Hellion. And another one pops out. Clem scrambling back. This is only like half a dozen lings. 8 lings total. 5 kills, 6 kills. This is terrible, terrible damage. Completely unanswered. 10 kills with 8 Zerglings. 11 and 2 Hellions, and he brings the Hellions back. It's a disaster for Clem. It's not a game-ending one, but the amount of space, again, Dark gets in. Clem didn't have a wall. He let the Zerglings into the main, but wait, there's more. He's got an Overlord spotting for when the Hellions move out. He comes back in for another round. Like, come on. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, young man? Wow, that's disastrous. I mean, Dark cut into his own economy for this. Make no mistake. He just built another big round of drones, which is why the disparity is so great now, but Clem continually has to come back to defend the Spore Crawler. Well, Spore Crawler's able to reposition. But the Liberator unsieges in time, and now Clem is finally able to return some fire, somewhat literally here with the Hellions on their way across. The Liberator pushes back. The creep spread quite good, though, and enough Zerg. Oh, no, no, no! The Queens, where are they? And 5 drones down to start. Clem returns fire. Though a lot of Zerglings trickling in, and most of the Hellions will be taken down, splitting off some Lings, so not to leave too many vulnerable. Takes down another one, but wait, another group as well. Dark just makes such magic happen with these Zerglings. Three hatcheries on the way. Double macro hatch for Dark. And a lair as well. I think he's going to make a lot of... I don't know. I'm not an expert. Well, actually, I kind of... I just play one on the YouTubes, but... Double macro hatch and a 4th base. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make a bold prediction that Dark is going to make a lot of Zerglings. All right, possibly even... I know this is going to sound crazy. Some Banelings as well. So grab your emotional support, Zerglings. You're beautiful. You're brave. And make sure they have their life insurance policies, because it's very unlikely many of them will survive the coming minutes. Liberator drags some of the Queens out of position, which allows Clem to move up, mostly untouched. Just the Zerglings here, but the Medivacs are easily able to pick up the Marines. And without the Queens nearly in position to deal with this, he can just keep skirting around the edge. 3 hatcheries in the main. The Medivacs pick up yet again, but +2 Carapace as well as +1 melee. Dark prioritizing the Carapace upgrade. Made for tanking the hits. But Clem, pretty comfortable. 3 base economy. 1-1. About to be fully completed, and the armory is on point as well. 2nd factory. And siege tanks in production. Combat shield done. Medivacs slide over, pick up the Marines. And drop them out like 2 feet away, but the important point is he got away from the Zerglings. Jammed in behind the mineral line. Unlikely Dark is going to be able to dislodge it. The Liberator won't stop until the Queens make it. But the Queens again, not in position to deal with these Medivacs, so Clem just heads to the main. And, wow, crazy, the Queens are there. How did that happen? Maybe a bit, jumping the gun just a bit on that drop, but keeping the pressure on yet again. Baneling speed is done. +1 melee attack as well. Dark now working on +2. Infestation pit is completed. We should see the hive. Meow. With Hydras on the way, though. Dark always so good about keeping those Hydras intact. Using the Lings and Banes as a shield. An explosive one. Surprised we don't see the hive yet, but he's pretty much pushing out every single Hydra he can. Drilling Claws on the way. Widow Mines will be the choice for Clem, but he hasn't seen any of the Hydras yet. Widow Mines not nearly as good as tanks, for the most part, against the mass Hydra compositions. Much better against Ling Bane, where they can't outrange them and pick them off one by one. A combination of the two is always good, though. And another group of Lings with some Banelings in tow. Clem looking to take his 4th base. But those Hydras just now getting the hive. Clem setting up. He's got Widow Mines underneath the siege tanks. A dastardly move. But quite an effective one, even with the indicator. More. He's just going for the overrun here. Doesn't spot it. Oh, no! Oh, huge hit. And the Widow Mine's done with Drilling Claws. Clem drops into the main, and Dark drops in supply. The Queens will get gunned down. Only one actually taken out for now. But I'm sure the Frenchman's looking for more. They'll inspect one of us in the wreckage, brother. One of the Marines gets left behind, but another Widow Mine looks for a shot, finds a connection, and most importantly, forces Dark back. Clem keeping the pressure on. As Dark scrambles, 60 Zerglings in production. The hive is done, but none of the hive tech is started. Finally, 3 Vipers. No adrenal glands yet. +2 melee isn't there yet. But the Widow Mine slams over the Terran army as well. Draws out a shot. The trail of explosive breadcrumbs continues, but the Hydras are such a huge deal when it comes to holding the line. Clem has not yet started his 3-3 upgrade, which is giving Clem a little more time to catch up. Or Dark more time to catch up. +1 plating for mines as well as the medevacs completed now. Adrenal glands on the way for Dark, that critical Zergling attack speed upgrade. But the Marines come in looking to take out the base targets. 1, 2, almost misses the shot. The Hydra's targeting the medevacs. The Zerglings are not enough. And a good trade there. Trying to drag into some more Widow Mines towards the northern side. Clem still putting on so much pressure, but the Widow Mine clips the Terran army as well. Dark drawing out the shots. Dark maintaining. He hasn't been able to get the creep spread too much further. The bio armies continue to keep the pressure on. And Zerglings are not enough. He needs more Banelings. I don't believe he got a Lurker Den either. Just focused on the Hydras themselves. But Zerglings running by, drawing out the shots. But it's not enough. Clem. Another Widow Mine hit. But the Vipers have full energy. A minefield behind. And needs more Overseers at this stage. Clem keeping the pressure on. He has Ghosts already on the field, stimming in that group of Marines to the south. And the base is vulnerable. The Zerglings a little out of position. The hatchery falling quickly. But it's not going to be enough for now. Center of the map. Ooh, snipes. Knocks out 1 Viper. Parasitic Bomb. Quarantines the medevac. Blinding Cloud on the ramp. And the Widow Mines taken out blindly by the Banelings. A great exchange for Dark, but Clem has more than enough economy to easily replace any losses. Dark does not, he just doesn't have the unit composition to break through at this point. Without any Lurkers or a huge sweep of Banelings, Clem is on point here. And those Vipers, Parasite, get over here and get out of here. All right, okay, Brenda. All right, The medevacs are taken out. Hydra's looking to chase down. Another wave of Banelings. But Clem, relentless, random EMP out there. Oh my, the Widow Mines doing huge damage to the Zerglings. Taking out dozens, but there's hundreds more. Right now, 100 Zerglings on the field for Dark. Dozens of Banelings, a few dozen more Zerglings in production. Widow Mines taking a toll, but a toll is all it is. Did he just hit? Oh, that was a Widow Mine he hit. But drawing out those shots. Command centers overrun. Clem maybe a bit ambitious building him out here. Falling back. Widow Mines burrowed. So many Overseers, not taking any chances. Why are you raising? Oh no. Clem just gutting down. He took out so many Overseers. Dark is hard supply blocked. But Clem's looking to help him out with that. Parasitic Bomb quarantines the medevacs. The ghost count is so damn high. Dark, I think, getting a bit strung out in this fight. He can't rebuild. He lost so many Overseers in a weird, we'll call it a mistake, but Hydraslings and Banes heading for the ramp, trying to just go for the production if he can get on top of that. Unfortunately, he's not able to do so, and Clem dropping mules as he chases down the Hydras. Dark, who's only lost 4 Hydras despite all this aggression. The Lurker Den is now on the way, as Dark probably the last to realize in the match. He needs something a little more. Concussive shells starting, though he doesn't have any Marauders. I was like, wow, he waited that long, but he didn't actually build Marauders until about this point. Banelings crashing in, but it looks like Clem might have the momentum to carry this through and potentially kill some bases. 7 Infestors on the way. Overlords just rambling around the map. I couldn't come up with a better word, but it kind of sounds right, though, for some reason. Maybe it's just my words are rambling. Either way, I digress. Oh, wow. Wow. Dark just taps it out. I get it. A Liberator was about to see... This is what did it. This Liberator... Existing... He sees it. And... It's like, I'm not... Moving on. Moving on. Once Clem gets started... Remember that game started with Dark killing a dozen SCVs with Zerglings. And Clem recovered from that. He bounced back quickly. And he built up the momentum. Eventually into a victory. God. Just impeccable micro on the field. Able to take great trades at every moment. And Dark didn't have the tech to deal with it at the end of the day. And that brings us evenly to Game 3 on Alcyone. That brings us to Game 3, Jimmy. Sorry. Like and subscribe. Clem is going to go for the 2 Rags Reaper yet again. Which begs an obvious question of what's Dark going to do about it. The Overlord will spot it. Both players very aware of what Dark did in game number 1, I'm sure. Yeah, that was just such a clean execution. Once Clem got started, he's so hard to stop. Even though Dark is so efficient with his Hydralisks, there's nothing more efficient than well-controlled Marines, Medevacs, and Ghosts, so... And with that much of an economy behind him, with that many mules, once you have the just bank of orbital commands to drop mules to the point where you only really need 50, 60 SCVs, you better be in a winning position as Zerg. Otherwise, you will not have the budget to be able to beat that. And that's why Dark taps it out. Still maybe a little on the early side, but I gotta say, to an extent, I appreciate when players will tap out when they are reasonably sure they've lost. Like 98%. Not 95. 98 though. Because that keeps us moving into the next game instead of a long death animation like sometimes can be the case. I think Clem actually has a tendency to tap out a lot of the time. Like, you gotta let the fight happen. Okay, Clem has a tendency to tap out, like, as he's losing the fight before most regular humans can realize he's lost it. This happens quite frequently against max packs. Where either he's winning the game or mid-fight seemingly he just GG and we're already working towards the next game. But, well, we'll see if Clem has to tap out ever again. As just such a clean game from him. I would love it if he just does it again. Like, that would be such a Dark move. You wouldn't do the most obvious cheese twice. He has 50 gas in the bank. So, but 4 Reapers. Clem has adapted now. He's added another Reaper in, but Dark slips the Zerglings by even without speed. And this is the downside of going for the Reapers on this side of the map. The add-ons are exposed and get taken out, delaying any potential follow-up. Zergling speed now done. Dark with plenty of lings, and he's chilling at the watchtower. Bunker on... Oh! There it is. The fear in his heart and the bunker in his natural. Darmok and Jalad at the bunker. But this is Clem acknowledging the danger Dark as a player poses. He doesn't know what Dark is doing. Some might even say he's in the dark about it. But because of game 1, even if Dark had failed, we would see this bunker, I think. And now a Banshee even behind. Dark has already won the mental battle. Now, has it translated into some sort of massive advantage? No. At least not yet. But every moment Clem is not building his infrastructure and his economy towards a strong mid-game timing is another moment Dark gets to shore up his own options. He's got 8 roaches on the way. They're all sloaches. This is enough to, 1, threaten, and 2, potentially kill any sort of early Hellion. Oh my god. The Reaper Migrant. He finally gets one of them. There's 2. Another grenade. That one. Ooh. The Zerglings will eventually chase him down. Quite an effort. He actually ends up taking out a dozen lings. Not that bad. But the Ravagers are on the way. Dark hitting. So Dark is all-inning. Did Clem salvage the bunker? Oh no! Another nightmare will be unlocked here. Clem just salvaged the bunker moments before the Ravagers hit. Oh, but on the other side, the Cloak Banshee shows up. It's going to slaughter drones. Stimpack is shut down. The Ravagers and Lings are getting in. And Dark is going for the kill. But at the same time, Clem is gutting his economy. He fires up... Oh my god, he almost kills the Banshee. In fact, it would have connected. I don't think Cloak really matters here, as Dark knows where you are. You're going to have to constantly micro that Banshee. 11 drones killed, but 23 SCVs slaughtered. Ends up killing more of his own Zerglings than anything else. He gets back into the main. I don't know what happened to the second Banshee. It was taken down as the Spore Crawler finished, as Dark is doing terrible, terrible damage. The more Banshees coming out, 36 SCVs dead, but Dark only has 25 drones. They just keep getting in. Dark found another timing. It literally, like, not 30 seconds after Clem salvaged his bunker, he thought he was safe. 50 SCVs dead! That's impressive. He even had that many. 10 SCVs left. Drones on the way. The Hellions caught on the wrong side of their own depots. A single Marine. The Banshees scrambling. They're uncontested, but they're just not good enough. Clem dropping mules, but more Zerglings. The Banshees can't get the kills fast enough. They have dozens of Zergling kills, which is a fraction of what they need. 7 SCVs left. 6, 5. And there's 4. The world burns. Dark. The classic, I'm all-inning, I'm concentrating so hard the overlords are all sitting out there. But unfortunately, Clem not going to be able to take advantage of that. So now what? Clem is at 6 SCVs. Even with mules. Oh my. Wow. It feels like almost a cinematic. Both players getting hit so hard they don't realize they're dead until after. Like, wow. Dark once again reaches into the spawning pool and pulls out some fresh cheese. And the timing is so perfect. Like, he's so good at that. There's a reason he's called the final boss. Even when the cheeses don't necessarily work out, they work in the grand scheme of things. As he played Clem like a French fiddle there, which I assume is just a more pretentious version of one. I think a viola or something. Either way, though, we're going into Game 4 with Dark on match point. Amphion. And he's gonna go for the 2 Rex Reaper. Yet again. Another map where the add-ons will be more exposed. Which, well, that was another game where Stim was unable to complete, because Dark just slapped it away. Where are you going, Drone? Is he hiding it? I mean, yes, but... Oh, he's looking for proxy Rex. Never mind. And a gasless 3 base. All right, place your bets. I was about to say place your bets on what the Hellions run in, but there's not going to be Hellions, at least not for a while yet, as it is a 2-Rags Reaper. I do want to point out so far, Clem 0 for 2 with the 2-Rags Reaper. It feels like Dark, who his greatest frenemy, Beyond, invented this build, this version of the build, not just Reapers in general, but this particular version was first popularized by Beyond, mostly against Dark. So Dark just keeps using it against Clem. He's giving him exactly the information to make the wrong decisions. It's not, this game is not all about mechanics. All right, it's not all about speed. Believe it or not, there are aspects of it that are strategy, though the real time usually does take precedence. And Dark truly embodies that. The Reapers head out the employee entrance. Map made by Terrans, for Terrans. Queen, Brenda! It's just slow link, so the Reapers know. Oh my, another double bounce. Gets the creep on the high ground. 4 Reapers in total. 2 command centers behind. The Queen almost dead. Another one. Susan! Get down! The Frenchman kills the Queen. Revolutionary tactic. As these Reapers... They continue to shock around. Still no gas at all for Dark. 4 minutes in. It's an Ice Fisher build. Just continually producing drones and queens. At some point you have to get gas, right? Like there, and it is this point now. Reapers. Still looking around, keeping great tabs on things. He's already scouted. Wait, no. Well, the 3rd base timing gives away whether or not there's gas. For the most part. I guess you could do some sort of crazy tech behind, but the beauty of what Dark's done, none of his builds have been really cutting into his potential economy. Obviously, if you do it all in and it completely fails, you're behind. But he hasn't, like, cut the basic economy before the build starts. Just a long-winded way to say he's just masking it so well instead of relying on hamstringing himself. It's partially just in the movements of the queens and the zerglings that you can create this sort of facade and an idea for the Terran. Like, if there are 3 or 4 queens at the front, you're assuming they're more injecting, so he's just doing a macro build. Well, in this case, he is. So, giving Clem that information, but a double drop is headed for the main. As Clem with a 3-2-1-1. Stim is completed, the only upgrade in the game right now. The Queen's getting chased down, but the Stim Marines and the Reapers in the 3rd. Clem will not go quietly into the night as he's dropping the base. Just, oh my god. Oh my, 21 drones slaughtered between the Reapers and mostly the Marines, even beating a Roach. The Roach is finally cleaning up the Reapers, but the Marines are not done. They get back into the main, another Queen gun down, and Clem is tearing him apart right now. The medevacs will be targeted, he picks up the survivors, and Dark plummets to an 11 drone lead. Wow. So part of the reason he took so much damage is Dark got so obscenely greedy. Does he have roach speed? He does not. Well, realizes that now, starts it. So, painful, yet mostly superficial damage to Dark. As Clem Only now getting his third base up. His upgrade's only about 10 seconds ahead. And if Clem is not able to delay the fourth, though even 4 Marines look like they're enough. He even added the Reaper in, for good measure. He's going to delay the fourth base, which is a moderate win. And gets the drone, delaying it another 10 or so seconds. Armory's on the way. Second factory. Siege tanks in production. A smart choice against the mass roaches indeed. Even repairing that medevac, which is in many cultures considered illegal. But here we see that Clem believes in the right to repair. More roaches. Dark. Just leaning on it. The Nidus Network. As Dark looking to max out on roaches and then get them absolutely everywhere in Clem's base. A conspicuous overlord hanging out in the corner. Diabolically loitering. As they do. How many queens? Only 4. Only 4. Or how many has he lost? 5 of them. 1-1 will be complete for both sides. The drop's still sharking around. And Clem is moving out with a sizable army. But Dark is more than ready to meet him on the field. And ideally it would be on the field rather than backed up against one of his bases. 4 siege tanks. A difficult proposition to dislodge. But there's a Nidus in the main, Clem. Yeah, we could, couldn't we? Clem scans forward. He hasn't reacted to the Nidus at all. Dark may give up his 4th base in order to take Clem's main. And the Nidus popping out the roaches. Clem now reacting, but it's too late. He didn't even kill the 4th. Just trying to body block in the main base. Trying to protect that tank as long as possible. As that's the only thing between Clem and Oblivion. And the SCVs are repairing. Finally gets through it. More SCVs targeted. Another Nidus pops out, but the ramp is taken. This is Dark space now. Clem has to break up his own ramp, splits for the corrosive vials, parting the Red Sea right now. Knocks out another half dozen Marines. The orbital is taken down. The corrosive vials rain down, and Clem's economy is shattered. His production is broken. His armory is dismantled. And his spirit is reeling. As Dark, again, pulling the rug out from under him. More roaches and ravagers reinforce the main, teleporting through the Nidus network. An infestation pit is on the way, but Clem, his army is still strong, but its position is terrible. He has to try to defend from the low ground of his own main. And the roaches and ravagers are raining down. He actually missed a bunch of those corrosive balls, I think, on the edge there, but it manages to take it out. 13 more SCVs dead. The SCVs have been the biggest losers of this series. And GG, Dark, with a dominant 3-1 victory. And a great sign going into the World Cup. And our bonus game here today. Dark does it again. This time around, making Clem playing it like a ladder series, whereas Dark playing it like a championship. That is just Dark clearly playing the full series there. The beauty of it is you can't even read into it too much. It feels like he comes up with these builds almost on the fly. Obviously, he's practiced so many before, but just pulling out whatever he needs for the occasion and making it work. But speaking of fly, we have a new challenger approaching, the final boss. Firefly from Team Onside. A Protoss, a fiery Protoss. One of those Protoss who will occasionally pull out some of the craziest and most entertaining strategies before fading into obscurity for months. Unfortunately, that describes a significant percentage of even top-level Protoss, as consistency is such a struggle, in much the same way it isn't for Dark. God. That is not a... The thing is, in the one game where he was allowed to play, Clem looked like the better macro player. Dark was unable to keep up, despite doing early damage. The problem is, Dark is more than willing to flip the board. He will drive the car off the bridge. As long as you're in it with him. Not sure what we're looking at here. It's a drone. A beautiful, beautiful drone. But we've seen it before. Zergling. Single Zergling. In both the main and the natural. Somehow one Zergling completely interrupting what seems to be most of the economy. It's in a Twilight Council first for Firefly. And straight to Adept Glaives. But Dark just... Okay. He's waiting. The Overlord is in position. Zergling speed is finishing up. He's just waiting for his opportunity. 4 Zerglings, even if there is no wall, is not going to be enough. He has to know. He saw the Twilight, so he should have a very good idea of the options. Roach Warren is the answer. Unless he wants to do some sort of ridiculous Wing Bane style. The gate's on the way. Of course, Dark only had 30 drones at the moment, so I gotta shore that up a bit. But you can't really go much more past 40 or so. Like, if you go past 45, you will lose drones. And it's almost certain you will lose drones anyways. But the point is to minimize damage and set yourself up for potential counterattack. But Dark has yet to build a Roach Warren. Okay, well, I gotta start these sentences earlier. There's the Roach Warren on the way. Firefly taking a third. Is it a placeholder? Not really. Still building probes. Sometimes you'll take the third base just to, you know, make it look like you're taking a third base. He's getting spores because DTs are still an option in this sort of case. The lack of... even though he didn't see the Adepts, and now he will. The Overlord's hanging out, looking down on those shades. But Dark has all the knowledge here. The question is, how much space can Firefly buy? Because he's at 45 probes against just 40 drones. Any drone losses at this stage could be devastating. But at the same time, if Firefly loses the Adepts for free, he just loses the game to a counterattack because there just won't be enough units. And that seems to be what Dark is interested in, though he is a bit supply blocked. He's building 7 Overlords. Maybe some Amnesia Lords there. Forge on the way. Immortals in production. And Dark... Wow. Not a single... Only 3 Zerglings have died. Not a single Adept. The existence of the Glaved Adepts. Firefly played it so careful. Dark also playing it very careful. Sitting back, not committing with the roaches. He still doesn't know for sure it's not a DT follow-up, but a Spire is on the way as he angles towards Mutas. Which, a strong choice against someone who didn't open Stargate, which is already in and of itself a rarity. The existence of a Stargate and the relatively high chance it will scout the Spire before the Mutas are out is what stops most players from even thinking about Mutas, really at most points of the game. But when you open with a Twilight Council into a Robo, now believe it or not, write this down, not a Stargate. So, at the end of the day, the prime opportunity for Mutas to make something happen. Roach Warren with speed. And Mutas on the way. Has Firefly spotted the gases at the third? He has not. That would be a tell. Seeing gases 5 and 6 relatively early for Zerg is almost always for some sort of shenanigans. Whether it's Swarm Hosts or Mutas, or maybe just even Mass Hydra. Usually you don't get those gases unless you're intent on really heavy tech. 8 Mutas in production, as we've had such a 7-minute, not really no rush, but A lot of will they, won't they. The hallucinated Phoenix is coming in. And pretty soon, I think he's gonna hope that was a real one. Yeah. As the Spire is spotted, and Dark is already building a massive ground army underneath. Looking to take advantage. Double Stargate on the way for Firefly, but Dark is already transitioning out of the mutas, whereas Firefly has to scramble to counter them. The mutas headed north. God. Still, this should be the first exchanges. Still, Firefly has technically played a perfect game thus far. Not losing a single unit for 8 minutes. But that everything changed when the Muta Nation attacked. Blink is done. The Stalkers making it known. The main base, cannon and shield battery gonna help out, but there's enough mutas to one-shot probes before the battery can even get involved. And Dark just leading him on the chase. The Immortals and Sentries, though, shading down, protects the shield battery, but not gonna save it from the Roach Ravager and Corrosive Bile. Force fields. Not sure if he's locking himself out or locking Dark in, but Dark just goes for the Nexus, says, why not? Busting through. So many Zerglings, 15 probes dead with it. Another entire ring of force field. He has the sentries. He's gonna get his Vespene gas worth out of him. But Dark just takes out the 4th, and he still has the mutas. Firefly. Well, he still has a lot of probes. Dark did not have a huge economy here. He's just relying on the unit composition. Baneling Nest now on the way, as he realizes he's going to need maybe a little bit more to break through the main army. Is there a Templar Archives? There is not. So no easy way to spend all that gas for Firefly. At least not really an efficient way. The mutas, again, working on the corner. Stalkers moving down to block out. And the Corrosive Biles trigger some of the Immortal barriers. Meanwhile, the Nexus itself is being targeted. Some Adepts were out here. Looks like a bit of Select All Army action. Force fields broken by Corrosive Bile, but Firefly is standing his ground and holding on to it. As the beefiness of this composition, he does have +2 ground weapons done. Dark is still... Am I watching a shield battery overcharge to save an assimilator? Yep. Check that off my bucket list, I guess. Resistance is futile, mutas. Sorry. 44 Banelings were in production. Many of them completed. Another couple dozen. As the Banelings are just waddling into the 3rd. Hello, Firefly distracted. And it will cost him many of his probes. 13 probes dead. And he's still just waddling through. The mutas are back. Firefly with a seemingly and somewhat ironic religious objection to the Templar Archives. As without Archons, this is going to be a very difficult push to hold. That's a lot of Banelings. More waddling in. Speed is done. Looks like he didn't need it, but he's gonna have it anyways. Oh no, my, okay. Barely holds on there. Force fields to box out. It's not enough. Another wave, Corrosive Bile, but it doesn't kill the Banelings. It just stops them for now. +2 melee done, but Firefly still has a lot of army supply and 0 Archons. 54 more Zerglings and another wave of Banelings in production. But Firefly is getting closer and closer to maxing out, which is his best case scenario against this mid-game Zerg army. The Protoss units pound for pound are better, but Dark is putting on a lot of extra tonnage here. And the Zerglings get in. Oh no. The mutas are still around. The shield battery overcharged, but he targets the shield battery itself, which, you know, solves most of that problem. Banelings rolling through. It breaks down the force fields. Another wave of force field will lock him out for now. The Zerglings finally being cleaned up at the natural. Big wave of Stalkers. Banelings all kind of clumped up. Relatively easily dealt with, but 18 more probes are dead. Zerglings in the main. The Mutas have survived up until this point. But Firefly doing a great job of working this mid-game composition. He's got the Stalkers. He still has enough sentries. 41 more Banelings, though, for Dark. And the Ravagers enough to knock down the force fields and allow those Banelings to get up close and personal. And here comes Dark. Oh, the full surround. The next wave is coming in. The force fields are running out. The gates are open. And Dark comes streaming through. Oh, this is why we don't go outside. Firefly doing an applaudable job of moving the Blink Stalkers around. But there goes the Prism. Get off my queen! The Queens take it down. Oh, whoa, wait. Firefly, with the Stalker control, actually is able to break through for a moment. Some charge plots coming in to save the day. The Immortal finally taken down, though. Dark is reinforcing the army. All credit to Firefly for making a battle out of it. It looked like Dark should just have the full surround, but Firefly's commitment to this, just brute force army comes through. He's just not going to have enough Stalkers left, though. Dark still has too much economy left over, even with the drones pulled. Firefly making a great game of it, though. Some really solid kind of slugfest, scrappy style Stalker control, where he was using the Stalkers to block out certain parts of the fight. The charge lots will find another base, and Dark is still fighting for it. But Firefly, he still has this base and a bunch of probes traumatized. GG though. That's like a day of GGing after the fights and realizing you're dead, which I appreciate. But speaking of appreciate, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the bonus game. The anti-spoiler, because honestly, Clem, if Clem was allowed any more space in those games, he easily could have turned it around. Still, obviously, such a great, mechanical player. But Dark is the final boss with years of experience. And that's why he's the GSL champion. That's why he's ranked #1 in the world by Dark. But we will see. Hopefully Clem can shore up his, I think, mostly strategic weaknesses before the World Cup, as I'm rooting for him. And I'm rooting for Dark as the villain, as he kind of is. But thank you for watching. And if you got the means of motivation, be also check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. Make sure to check out the second channel for more content, streams, and all that. Winter Gaming TV. And otherwise, I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun, or else stay chill. Jimmy, edit that last bit. Shh.